Literacy always on my mind. I'm stacking knowledge, no time to waste. Gotta invest smart, gotta keep up the pace. I'm reading books, learning all the tricks, studying the market, making calculated picks. I'm saving up my dough, watching it grow. No more wasting money on things I don't really know. Financial smarts, that's my new swag. Investing wisely, no more burning cash. I'm building wealth, $1 at a time. Going from broke to living the life that's prime.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Reckless Radeonero, and we are back at it again for another episode of Future Financial Strategies. Going to have a real in-depth conversation, a little bit different than what's normal. I'm wrapping up a little bit of work here. I type this one sentence out. There we go. I can't type and talk. I'll start typing the wrong things. But I wanted to do this episode specifically because obviously I'm talking a lot about not necessarily a lot of different things. We talk about future financial strategies over here. Bitcoin is a big part of it. That is the industry that I come from. That is my area of expertise. That is where I've put in my 10,000 hours, a whole decade plus at this point, active in the markets. I have, as I've said multiple times, I've touched on every facet of investing in crypto that exists. I have made money. I have lost money. I've lost some people's salaries some years on screw ups that I still came out ahead on. I test things. It's one of the things. I'd have no problem looking like an idiot, you know? And when I started down this journey, I had time. So, you know, as I've evolved my trading strategies, a lot of the stuff that I was doing in the beginning, I'm not currently doing. I don't chase. That's the reason I'm not part of the meme coin craze. I'm not chasing meme coins. The meme coins that I have in my portfolio have been gotten for free via liquidity farming. They're just like little bonus kickers. They give them out to entice people to be in the market and gamble. I'm not easily enticed at this point. I've seen it all, done it all, lost money to scammers, lost money on scams, gotten caught out. I've done my due diligence. I've done my part in this market. And in doing so, I have like a little bit of a different perspective than most people in my traditional finance adventures. Some of the strategies that I'm willing to try, some of the stuff that seems a little bit quirky, I'm able to put some pinpoints together based on the stuff that I've done in the cryptocurrency space that works also in the traditional finance space. I've always said this, and I always will say this. Most of the things that you can do in the traditional finance space tested in crypto, you can stress test it at a very fast clip, because stuff moves fast in cryptocurrency. So it's not necessarily that, well, yeah, I mean, it is. You just see stuff happen faster. So if a strategy works, it works supercharged in crypto. If it doesn't work, it fails miserably fast in crypto. So I've tested a bunch of stuff in my 10,000 hours, in my decade plus, I'm going on like I think 11 or 12 years now. It's like 12, almost 12 in the market, active, just surviving with a thriving portfolio that I somehow have managed to continue to grow. The net worth has continued to go up. Stuff continues to happen. I'm living in an existence where I am the anomaly. I'm what Anton Daniels says isn't real. It's crazy. The opportunities that I've been able to capitalize on because of my influence in that market, the deals I've been able to put together, the lifestyle that I'm able to lead. And that's not even selling off crypto to live off crypto. I don't eat those assets. I've only sold one time. We're going to be selling again because we put part of our home improvement savings / opportunity fund into the crypto space, and it has exceedingly outperformed. It's performed so well that I don't think I'll be pulling the 3,000 that I owe myself out of my traditional finance portfolio to add to it. I think it'll get to where it needs to get on its own with just that part of the bag. But that said, it's, you get to, when you start actually testing stuff in real life with your finances, you start seeing some commonalities. You start seeing some things, especially if you get some traction. Now, I didn't get lucky in this space and blow up on a meme coin. I got lucky in this space and blew up on stuff that I'm still invested in to this day. And I still have figured out ways to not touch the money. The reason we started doing the portfolio update, the regular portfolio, the brokerage account with receipts. So we're going to get to test that with receipts, because I'm an avid documenter of the journey. I wish I had started documenting the journey sooner, but you start when you start. You get the game that you get. It would have been really interesting to look back on those videos now that I'm where I'm at and where we're getting ready to be with the cryptocurrency space. But that's not the only strategy that we advocate for over here, because this isn't a one size fits all. And like I haven't had a bad experience with any of the strategies that we've implemented, because I'm still actively using all of the ones that we've gone over on this channel. But as things evolve, as your portfolios evolve, as your financial situation evolves, there's no cookie cutter for this. That's the reason we test all the tools. You got to know what tools you have. And while you're fighting your way out of the mud, I think it's just a little bit on the end of financial suicide to start talking about what you're not going to do because some guy told you on the internet that he doesn't like that thing that you don't know about, that they can't explain, because they never give an explanation on why something works, which is why over here on Future Financial Strategies, I believe in testing things and then reporting back to you what happened with my accounts, with my money. Like, how are we doing? How are you holding up? Is the net worth increasing every month? Because we track that. Is your credit, what's your credit doing every month? I know that all the gurus out there say credit doesn't matter, but it does when there's no cheap money for everyone. Because I've been still getting cheap money and we've still been using it, so the credit score has been bouncing, baby. Currently, we're sitting down at 730. We had an 80-point drop because we initiated a credit conversion to buy assets like rich people do. So the credit score went down. Still 730. Still better than most people's. But it's not the 820 that it was. It's not the 810 that it was. We normally sit in between, I'd say 810, 820, over 800 at most times. But, when you're using it, you're using it. I like to track the percentage saved out of all the income that actually comes in. Net income that comes in. I don't care about gross. I understand. Everybody likes to say they make six figures. I don't make six figures. That's why I'm the anomaly, because apparently I'm not supposed to be able to own a house. My car's not supposed to be paid off, and I'm supposed to be up to my eyeballs in debt with no way to pay it back, because the world's just ending when you don't make $100,000 per these gurus. And I'm here to say that, well, I mean, maybe if you have like 5 kids or a bunch of kids or something, I don't know. But that's not the reality for me, and I'm giving receipts. I don't make a lot of money. Like, I don't. But they've got us relegated down to these conversations about, if you've got money, you got to have flashy things. You got to have flashy things to impress people, or why should they listen to you? Well, they should listen to me because my net worth's higher than yours, and you make more money than me, apparently. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm not out of the mud yet. Maybe it's because I'm still climbing. I'm not preaching down to you from the mountaintop. I'm not telling you that I'm better than you. But if we want to compare assets, like I like that game, because that's part of what I'm focused on. Now we're kind of focusing on the income, because we've got the assets in place to where it's almost idiot proof as long as I don't have to touch it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we went down, had the Achilles surgery, and I did everything in my power to not have to liquidate any assets to pay for it. I'm paying for it with cash, like paying for it with income. Bought more income as soon as I got hurt, because I was like, oh, we got to figure this out. under the pressure. What did I do? Took out some more debt, bought some more income. I guess I'm crazy. I don't know. We'll see. But we're tracking it as we go. So either way, hell or high water, y'all going to see me win or see me fail. I mean, I know that the gurus out there are probably sweating in their boots. There's a channel that makes content for 10 people that's telling the truth. Because I'm definitely not making this stuff up on my own. I'm tapped into a network of people who've built industry businesses. And I'm just kind of scaling down what they're doing and just doing it with my stuff. I'm really good at seeing somebody do something and being able to replicate it. It's one of my superpowers. So realistically for me, I just need proximity. And I've got all the proximity I could ever ask for. I got so much proximity. It's disgusting sometimes. I think about it and I'm like, geez, I got some people to just watch. Let me turn this light down. It's bright. Blinding me, man. Okay, there we go. Let me hit another one. There we go. Now I can see. So I wanted to make this video specifically for the 3 things that I wish I knew when I first got into crypto. 3 things I wish I knew, and we're gonna mine it out. I'm gonna hash it out. Now, this is looking back, hindsight, always 2020. And yeah, I actually took the time to line this out so I can keep my thoughts focused in. So we're going to jump right into the first one. The first thing I wish I knew. Actually, we're going to do this in reverse order of importance. We're going to do this least important first. Ooh. Okay. First thing I wish I knew when I got into crypto. This will be number 3. Number 3 of the 3 things I wish I knew. We're starting off with number 3 and we're working our way up to number 1 because it's based on importance. Number 3, how to navigate the bear markets. When I first got into crypto, I didn't know about the crash. I didn't know that stuff went down 90%, 80%. I didn't know. You know, you end up with a lot of things that were a little bit of the wilder investments. And you get into projects, you get emotionally invested. I see a lot of investors that get emotional. I see a lot of people, they're investing out of desperation. You really need this to quintillion X, however many X's you need. You need hundreds of percent gains, thousands of percent gains. You want to be the next person to hit on a dog coin with a dog on it, and then you're a billionaire tomorrow. You haven't done the work to know what to do with the billion, but you want it. And so what happens to those people, this is 10 years of experience, I've been through a few bull runs, is they get in there, they get the win. They actually get the win. Some of these people get lucky and they get on the right side of a trade, luckily. They just get in there, they bought the dog coin, and now they've got $50,000 out of $5,000 investment, dollar cost averaged in. And they're throwing more money at it. It's going up. Now they've got $100,000. You got a 6-figure portfolio of a coin with a dog picture on it, with no actual value, no underlying value whatsoever, no utility. It's just a picture of a dog, and people are excited about it. Elon Musk says dog, price goes up, and they keep riding it out. They keep saying that it's going to go up forever. It's just going to keep going up. Like, you're up thousands of percent, tens of thousands of percent in some cases. And they don't get out. They keep sitting there. They keep talking trash. And I know because my first crypto pump wasn't a dog coin. It was something that we thought had an underlying value. It was an underlying asset. We didn't understand market dominance, importance, utilization. Didn't understand those things, but we thought had a really good founder, really well-spoken, really smart guy, built a really nice piece of tech. And instead of taking any profit, I rode it up to the peak and then I rode it down. Now, I walked out with a little bit of profit, but not near as much as what I should have if I had had a plan, which I didn't have, which most of these people don't have a plan. Now, how to navigate the bear market specifically, I wasn't prepared for that dump off. I wasn't prepared for the 70% cut, the 80% cut on some positions. Having the only thing that's really relevant at the end of the bear market being a couple of coins, and they weren't the ones that I was in because I was adamant about getting into positions where I could get whole coins instead of taking the time to purchase up whole coins on some more expensive coins. Because I looked at it and I was like, oh, well, Bitcoin's this price and this coin's this price, and I can get 20 of these and I can get no whole Bitcoin. So I went and got the 20 of the small coin, the cheap coin. And I got gains, and then didn't get the profits off of them because I thought I was doing something. I thought I knew what I didn't know that I didn't know. And that's the main thing on that point. It's if you got to be ready for the fall. You got to be ready for the fall. It comes every year. We get to a point you think nothing could ever go wrong. Everything's hitting. You're euphoric. And I mean, it's fortunate that this bull run people are getting to experience it early on, because like we're going through this dip currently. And as we're going through this dip, it's getting to people, but once we get into the bull run in crypto, people have amnesia. They forget how bad it was. But I'm happy that we're getting this dip, because I do better during bear markets personally. I prefer them because it's easier for me to make tactical moves, because then I can make projections for when the bull run rolls around. Like once the bull run starts running, I'm like a fish out of water. I just hold on to my positions and then just start looking for when the exit starts. Like I'm just looking for the door. I'm waiting for the party to be over. Honestly, like I feel good about it. We'll have some really amped hype videos because like everybody's going to be winning. I'm going to be hearing good news from everybody in the wolf pack. Hopefully I'll be sharing good news. But during that time, the bull run in regards to crypto are what make me nervous at this point, because I got so used to having to grind it out during these bear markets and seeing the fruits of the grinding it out during the bear market, that like now when the bull market hits, I'm just like, yeah, this is fun. But like, when do I start converting over? When do I start pulling? When do I start shifting this into longs? Because the end is nigh and then we get to start all over again. That's kind of where I sit. But like during these pullbacks this time around, oh, it's been great. It's been great. We had a little bit of cash reserves that we got to deploy. There was another dip on top of the dip. We bought some of that on top of the dippy dip. Bought some of that, and then if this current dip lasts through payday, we're gonna be buying some more. And I got some more cash that's getting deployed today. We're buying in. We going in on these positions. You'll have, I mean, obviously, crypto portfolio updates. You see this every week, so like I've been letting you know when I be making them purchases. And I'll let you know what I purchased. So there's that. Number 2, moving on to number 2. When/how to take profits. Now, this is one where I have an opinion and other people have a different opinion. But what I'll tell you is this. When and how to take profits is important, because people will ignorantly ride the dog picture coin to zero. There were people who I know were losing money talking about they were putting thousands of dollars back in, calling themselves buying the dip because they believed in a coin with no underlying utility that had a picture of a dog on it during the Shiba Inu crash. I mean, that's just wild to me. I'm like, you lost so much money. They lost so much money. So much. And I was telling them the whole time, probably not the greatest idea. Probably shouldn't be talking about this. This post isn't going to age well. And they've had to take them down. But I'm like, on Facebook, like, I know who you are. Like, you're the girl that was dumb in crypto. Carry that bottle, girl. Knew what she was talking about. Everybody else was stupid. Put $15,000 in buying the dip. Huh. Okay. And then it dipped again. Another 60%. That's gotta hurt. Cost average is all jacked up. Now, if they continue to buy through the bear market, I'm sure that they're in a great position at this juncture if they just continue to buy and eat crow. But most people don't have the capital or the wherewithal to do that. Which is why I say when to take profits. You should have a plan. You should have a number. When this hits 400% gain, for instance, I'm pulling my money off the table. Now, personally, the traditional finance people, they pull at 100. Now, in the crypto space, me personally, I'm at least a 2x guy. I like to see a 1.5, 2x before I take my money off the table. I want to see 100, 150%. I'll take my money back then. And then you can let the rest ride, because if you lose all of it and it goes to zero, you didn't lose your hard-earned money. You at least kept the principle of what you put in there. Now, that's better than no. You got to have a plan. That's a real basic plan. 1.5, 150, 200%, 1.5, 2x. Take your money off the table. The money that you bought the original position in, if it's $1,000, get your $1,000 back and put it somewhere else. Normally what I do is I roll it into another position and see if I can replicate it again over there. You double your money. I had bull runs where I did that 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. It's wonderful, because during the bull run, you got to be real unlucky to not hit some wins. Especially in the early onset where everybody's just scatterblasting everything, just trying to get anything that they saw in the narrative and the lexicon. You just got to get into the vein of some of these overarching narratives. Spoiler alert, AI, real world assets, layer 1, easy. Second half of this is the how. How do you take profits? Now, some people just cash out. They want to just cash out and they just walk with whatever they got. They want money. They want fiat currency. They're going to go buy stuff. You're going to go get a new car. You're going to go buy a house. You're going to go pay off a bill. You're going to go get your dog surgery. According to the GameStop GME people, they were saving animals. Their animals. Fair. Okay, cool. Pay back some back paid bills. Clear some debt. I've done that. Absolutely. I'm about it. But how? Like me personally, I try not to use. I'm not going to say I don't, because I have historically a little bit. But I tend to try to not use assets to pay for things. I prefer to pay for them in inflating dollars that are worth less every day, every single day, that go down in value. I'd rather use those. And I don't want to convert an asset to that to go buy something else that's going to be depreciating in value. I'm playing a very high level net worth game, which is you never give up an asset unless you're exchanging it to another asset. And if I need to buy something, I'll make that asset cash flow and use the cash flow from the asset to buy things. Hence, the income portfolio. I don't want to sell the stock to buy things. I want to use the cash flow generated by the income portfolio to not only fund the other portfolios at some point, but also be able to eat off that, live off of it, so that I have the option of whether I need to go to work or not, so I can take some days off, so I can be okay. No matter what. Lose your job, great. Everything's still paid for. My lifestyle, exactly as it is right now, snapshot, still paid for. And then, while I'm voluntarily working, I can continue to build that nest egg up so that I can have an even more exuberant lifestyle, and then, pull a little bit off every once in a while, but reinvest the majority of it. Currently, after we clear all the debt, including the debt that we use to supercharge that portfolio, then we'll get to see where we're sitting, because then I just get to flow that back in, because I'm still going to be working for a little bit longer voluntarily, but not having to. It's going to be fun. It's going to get real fun and interesting, because I'm going to be able to do some other things that I want to do as well. Also, I'll be, during the process of while I'm building this up to where I can actually live off of it, it's going to continue to expand my wealth. It's continuing to expand my income. I'm capable of giving myself roughly a $10,000 raise every year myself. I don't have to go beg for that. I don't have to go ask nobody for that. I'm giving it to myself. To continue doing exactly what I'm doing right now and give myself a $10,000 raise every single year in cash flow and income. Not a lot of people can say that. Is there work involved? Absolutely. I got to manage that portfolio. The traditional finance portfolio is much less to do than the crypto portfolio. It's a lot less to manage. It moves slower. It's just slower. But it's how to take profits. So me personally, I don't take profits out of crypto. It just gets converted over into my long-term holdings, which are Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Chainlink. We might be adding another position on this year. It depends on the performance. But the gist of it is I've got my core things that I am long on. I have my thesis on those positions, and that's what it gets converted into. I've already hit the minimum metric for Bitcoin. My goal was to get a whole one. I got over a whole Bitcoin. Now we're moving on. The next target is 32 ETH. We got 5 ETH sitting in there. I need 27 more Ethereum. It's a lot. It's expensive. It's going to take time. I can't just go buy 27 Ethereum, but we're growing it. We should be hopefully at minimum at 10 after this is all said and done. That's the goal. That's what we're shooting for this year. That's not even peak bull run. Next year we're gonna be really getting it because we're gonna have some positions. Now I'm thinking that we're probably gonna get jammed because of the income that we're generating in the traditional finance portfolio. So we're gonna get a little ding on the taxes. We're gonna get a little bit less money back this year. And I think this year is the last year I'll be getting money back on taxes, period. I don't see that in the cards moving forward. So now it's going to be real tactical about bolstering that income portfolio to be as much as possible, because a lot of that bonus that's coming in is going to be from that. And it's going to be consistent. It'll be throughout the year, which will be nice. I mean, it's also nice to get a check back from the government for a couple of $1,000, but I don't think that's going to be in the cards for me for much longer. Which is fine. I mean, I have them pull extra out of the check. Like if I can break even or get to the point where I'm like only into them for a couple of $100, that would be cool too. But we'll see what that looks like. Cause like I already have them pulling extra, but I mean, I think next year we're going to have to start playing around with some HSA stuff going on. We're going to have to start looking at some of the tools. I don't know about the 401k. I'm still not a fan of that. And I think we're probably gonna be nuking that. But I'll put a bunch. I mean, we put a bunch extra in the HSA because I know I'll be using that because I'm in a state where I hurt myself and go to the doctor now. So definitely something to look to. But it's important to have a thesis and to follow that thesis. That's the main thing. And this one is actually 1 and 2 are very, very closely tied together because both are pivotally important. They're both very important, and I can't even express how important they are. The last one and number one thing that I wish I knew when I first got into crypto is how important Bitcoin and Ethereum were. Hands down. Like, I've done well. I would have done astronomically better had I had a thesis my first 3 to 4 years in this market. Because it took me about to my 4th year, the second bull run, for me to figure it out. Like I had money in the market. I was making plays. I was doing stuff. But had I completely laser focused in and had the strategy that I have now, then would have been a game changer for me. And I would have well been a millionaire by now. Like this, it took a long time because I learned everything the hard way. There was no one to hold your hand through crypto. It's not like there was a bunch of people that were giving the grandest of advice. There were people who were giving advice that you could eat off their advice during the time. It was greatest of times. But as far as it was people wanting to get that 100x, that 50x call, though. That's what happens during the bull market. There's not very many channels like this one where people are going to teach you the methodology, the ideology behind it. They're going to show you their portfolio. They're going to show you what they're doing, their thought process behind it, the logic trail, so that you can kind of use the logic trail and the strategy and you can make your own educated picks. But I did not know the importance of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Granted, there's always been Bitcoin maximalists. There's always been Ethereum maximalists since Ethereum released. But it was like, there was just so much going on. And me personally, I did not dial in to the relevance and see what was going on until about 4 years in. And after I did that, I made the pivot, made the adjustment, and we've been growing ever since consistently. And like now at the zenith of the 10,000 hours and having put in all that work, now my portfolio, the way that I move, when I see these people that are new to the market, that are new here, that haven't been here a decade, it's their first, second year, and I see the way that they're navigating the market, I'm like, dude, like this ain't okay. Like it's night and day. But I see them doing the exact same dumb stuff that I was doing, that I'm like, you'll be able to bump your head through this, but like you'll get it eventually. You'll understand eventually. And it's just the wildest thing ever. I don't know how much different my life would be had I known that then. And that's all I can say about it, is I have no clue how crazy, because like when I first got into LP farming, whew, we was running through some money, and like it wouldn't have been hard for me to stack aside a bunch of Bitcoin and Ethereum during that time frame. And I just wasn't even thinking. I didn't have the processes in place to capture that cash flow and funnel it into something that was going to be lasting after that well dried up, because you can't make money the way that we was making money back then when liquidity farming first became a thing and the DeFi space was first filing out. Like you got to have money in the market to make money. And like, it's just what it is. High risk, high reward. Still is high risk compared to other stuff you could do. The reward's still decent, but it ain't what it used to be. It's just, and looking at those opportunities, like, did I get a bunch of stuff done? Yes, I cleared out I cleared out over $30,000 in consumer debt, got into a position to where I could step into home ownership. We got that set up, paid off a car, bought another car, paid that car off. I mean, it was that in and of itself was life-changing for me. Changed the trajectory of my life financially for like moving to now. And that's the reason I tell people the stuff you're doing right now is affecting you 5 and 10 years from now. And it's either going to be positive or negative. And for me, those were both positive actions. But with that said, all that stuff is great. Put me in a different sphere. Put me in an ability to be able to sit around and think and plan out my future and actually start having long-term goals and change the mindset of how I do things, change the way that I handled money, change the way that I did my finances, allowed me to move with a lot more intention and a lot more clarity than what I had been. But if I would have dialed in and gotten into Bitcoin and Ethereum the way that I'm into Bitcoin and Ethereum now, then, and the thing is, I still could have done all those other things. I still could have. And I would have had a foundation that was so much more set. Like, I got a good foundation now. I tell people it's just a matter of time. I know I'm already going to be in the next millionaire class. Most likely. If we hit the minimum, we're going to be halfway there within the next 6 years. Shit, I'll be if I'm not in this class of crypto millionaires, I'll be in the next one. But I would have already been there had I dialed in then. Now the moves that I made for where my mind was at the time and the situation that I was in, because I wasn't in poverty, but I definitely had a little bit of them poverty mindset cobwebs left because I was juggling a bunch of debt, a bunch of consumer debt. Like right now, looking at the $16,000 in debt that we're getting ready to knock, that we're actively crunching through using the new future financial strategy, the velocity banking. Shout out to the Stidhams. I ain't even worried about this. Like I took out half of the debt that I'm floating right now as soon as I hurt myself to go buy some more income. Because that's the way that I look at things. I'm trying to buy the income. I want to get as much of it as possible. I want to get as many assets as possible. I look at the stuff that's going on macroeconomically. I don't get stressed. I just start going, I need to get my hands on as many assets as possible. the tweak that we're doing to that strategy that we've got coming up. Because like after we get the first credit card done, we're taking the excess from that. We're gonna go buy some more. We're gonna go buy some more cash flow. We're gonna have a card knocked out. We're gonna go buy some cash flow. Then we're gonna start in on the next debt tool. Full bore. It's about to be wild. And what we're doing is we're gonna get our in-home banking living as the debt tool, and we're going to pull stuff over into that, and we're going to use that to start chunking at these debts. We're going to use the Cash App play, another tier of lower interest. We're going to start combining that with the in-home. That's going to be the debt tool, and we're going to use that to just gobble up the debt off these cards. And then whatever card that we're currently working on, that card becomes the debt tool for the cash flow, so we can spend those dollars multiple times. But our core is going to be using our debt tool over and over again to just keep chunking at these how I say it, at these credit cards, and we're just going to gobble it up that way, because we're going to have access to, at any given time, and probably about like 1,400 and growing, because I charge myself interest on those tools on top of what Cash App charges. But the money that's in my in-home banking, the cash allotment of in-home banking, I charge myself interest on that too. So I'm gonna continue to do that, and then we're gonna build up that pool while we're paying off these other debt tools. And that way we can be building assets, because this is the way that I'm looking at it. Traditional velocity banking and everything that I've seen, they're just 100% focused on paying off that debt as fast as possible, which I understand the logic behind that. But in the current environment, since those dollars are cheaper later on while we're paying it off, we're going to do the breather method, which is after you clear a card, you focus in and send some money into the brokerage accounts, and buy some more cash flow, because we're using the income out of the income portfolio to pay down this debt anyway. So that's also an additional thing. It's not just my cash flow, it's the cash flow that I'm purchasing via ownership. Those are actively managed funds that their whole goal is to make money. I got other people working for me now. My money's working. I got the money that's working. I got my long-term portfolio. We're gonna start filtering some money around here. We're trying to make sure that we're building up as much cash flow as possible, and then cycling that cash flow back into the velocity banking strategy to pay off these debts faster. Because after the debts are paid off, that cash flow, that tool that I have developed, which is a cash flowing tool, can pay for stuff, and I get to keep it. So I just need to machine gun through the debt as soon as possible, because then as all those credit cards get paid off, we can do some more debt conversion. You convert credit card to cash via the cash advance option that they give you. You normally get it about 4.5%. If they drop interest rates down, it gets lower. 4.5% is high for what I get offered. I don't know about everybody else, but it's a finance charge. It's not a percentage yield. It's a one-time flat rate 4.5%. And so we're looking at constantly building up our cash flow, and that's one of those things, because once we get that going, once we get all those cards paid off and we're just cash flowing, then now I can continue to build up that income portfolio. But I could also buy Ethereum. I could start dollar cost averaging it every month. Chunk of money going in, buying some additional Ethereum on top of what I'm getting within the portfolio growth and the income generated therein within the crypto portfolio as well. Because that income doesn't come out. It gets reinvested into positions. I'm buying positions off of that portfolio. I get a chunk of money. Currently, it's looking like this month it's going to be about $600. But the other thing that's fascinating about this is my traditional portfolio, which has less money in it than my crypto portfolio does right now, the active one, is making more money. So the question is, do I want to just go ahead and cash that out? Like, I mean, from a strategic perspective, I'm like, well, if this is making that much more money, then like, technically speaking, if this is just about cash flow, then that money could go cash it out, pay the taxes, put it in the income portfolio, and just let it do its thing. And then take that money and buy back in and get my Ethereum. The only reason I'm not doing that is because there's the reason it's sitting in those cash flowing positions, even though it's making less, because I have an astronomical upside come the bull run. And that's when that portfolio is going to do its work. Because the crypto positions, I'm just putting stuff in places to just sit and wait. It's in a holding pattern right now. And as we're going through that pattern, I don't have the same upside anywhere close in my income portfolio because those positions aren't about growth. They're about cash flow. My crypto portfolio, infinite upside. And it's when it does its thing, it's going to do it. It's just kind of the sit and wait deal right now. And I kind of wish, if hindsight being 2020, if I would have known where we were going to be sitting, I would have taken all those funds and diverted them into a traditional finance portfolio. But unfortunately, it wasn't until I got this injury that I started pulling the trigger on some of these moves that we was making. So now we're where we're at, and we're going to build out from there. But the most important thing that I wish I knew was the importance of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Ethereum. Like, they're not going away. Bitcoin's being bought up by governments. Both of them now are verified via having ETF approvals. Bitcoin's is active. Ethereum's will be active, might be active by the time you see this video. They're not going anywhere. They're infrastructural pieces. Like, they're not going to be as interesting, but one of the other funny things about the cryptocurrency space is people come in here and turn their noses up at 300 to 500% gains or more in the case of Ethereum. But with Bitcoin, easy 2 to 500% gain every halving. And they turn their noses up to go buy dog coins and lose money. They walk past 200% gain, people with no money, because it's not wealthy people that are gambling their life savings on coins with dogs on them. It's not. It's not people who have established portfolios that are gambling on this. It's not. It's people who are making moves out of desperation, because the only reason you would do that is if you were A, a degenerate gambler, or B, poor and desperate. Those are the only reasons. And they'll walk past a 2 to 500% gain, 500 to 1,000% gain, to go chase a 20,000% gain and not get it. And then come out of the market with nothing, talking about all crypto's a scam because you're stupid. Richard Fain. But I do your research. I mean, it's been 15 years. Your favorite financial guru has not outperformed Bitcoin. Unless we're talking about the current window and NVIDIA specifically, nothing's outperformed Bitcoin, period. And the story's not over yet. So while I do have some NVIDIA, and while I do think that that's probably a no-brainer for those of you who are in the traditional finance space, Bitcoin is the best performing asset, period, the last 15 years. Period. Like, the run that NVIDIA is on now, if you look at the gains on Bitcoin, period, it's still not beating Bitcoin over the whole. The whole of NVIDIA, all the gains you could have got on NVIDIA, if you started day one versus if you started day one on Bitcoin, night and day, still not beating it. Because math doesn't care about your feelings. But yeah, we're gonna end the show there. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I hope you guys are getting value out of these shows. Shout out to the Reply Gang down in the comments. Let's talk about it. I mean, all of these shows are kind of conversation openers, conversation starters. And, you know, I do enjoy chit-chatting with you guys down in the comments. So hit me up down in the comments. If you saw value in this, definitely make sure you hit the like button, share, and subscribe if it's your first time over here. And if you're a ghost watcher and you haven't subscribed yet, you should give me a subscribe, because I am not lying over here. I'm making content for the 10 to 12 of us in the Wolf Pack. And if you haven't joined yet, I don't see why not. We got plenty of room. We're very welcoming. We don't bite much. Till next time, folks, it's your boy Reckless Ray De Niro, and we out. Peace.
Money on my mind, yeah. Focus, got no time for games, nah. I don't play, man, I'm all about that financial literacy. Investing in my future, building generational wealth. Dollar bills, they be calling my name, but I ain't chasing fame, I'm chasing change. Learn the game, now I'm playing it smart. Putting my money to work, it's an art. I'm stacking paper, building my own empire. No more living check to check, I'm getting higher. Investing in stocks, real estate, and more. Gotta secure the bag, that's what I came for.